Hello, welcome to the Curator Podcast. This is episode 39. Hi, hello, welcome once again, dear listener, to the Curator Podcast. I am your host, Mark Fraser, and this is episode number 39. Apparently, though, it's actually episode number 41. I think that's because I did a couple of short episodes last year, but of the regular scheduled podcast, this is episode 39. On this episode, I have Tom and Paul, the rhythm section from Heck, who were formerly known as Baby Godzilla to the uninitiated, and they're just a damn good band, and they're damn fine gentlemen as well. They were playing the Cat House in Glasgow, which is the second time I've done an interview in there, and I've got to be honest, guys, I don't really like doing interviews in there because there's nowhere in that whole venue that's quiet. You'll hear it in the podcast in a minute. When I interviewed Gallows, you could actually hear the support band playing in the background, despite the fact we were in a dressing room and separated by lots and lots of space, basically. So that was okay. And then I thought, well, maybe I can mitigate it further by actually going upstairs, because the Cat House is on 2 floors, you see. Maybe I thought if I went upstairs it would be a lot quieter. Nah, not at all. As soon as the band starts sound checking, the bass is incredible. You can hear every single note, basically. And there's a point in this podcast where you will hear the band sound checking. At the time it was hugely bassy. I had to do something to fix that, which I did. But yeah, man, like, it was just tough. It was a tough recording setup. There was a lot of noise, and I should have cracked out the SM58 instead of using the capsule mic on the recorder. But you know, we make mistakes sometimes, but it doesn't affect the quality of the conversation. You can hear everything really clearly, and the guys were really open and happy to chat, and I was really glad I got a chance to talk to them. They're really nice guys, and their album Instructions just came out on the 11th of March, and it's cracking. It's been a long time. It's been a while in the making, I think, and the guys talk a little bit about that in the podcast, so I won't say too much about it, but I was quite shocked when I heard it. I mean, those guys writing that music when they released their first EP, the kind of music they play now seemed like so far beyond them, and now they're nailing it. And they also talk about that in the interview as well, so I guess the best thing to do is to shut up and just fucking get right into it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to open up with a track from that album. This song is called The Great Hardcore Swindle, and I hope you enjoy it.
Give me 5 years, and I'll
Hello, gents.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Very well. How are you?
Good, very good.
I'm alright, thanks. Just finished work. Just here. Phone goes. That's a wonderful life for the recording, I guess.
I know.
Yeah.
When that kind of shit happens.
Just put mine on silent.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have ever heard this podcast before, but I kind of deal in creativity and passion.
Right.
So you guys are quite passionate when you play live, especially anyway, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think we like doing what we do.
Yeah. Where does that come from? Why, like, you don't have to be that mobile on stage. I'm not that mobile on stage.
I think it probably comes from the songs that we play. You know, you can't really play those songs without getting massively into it because it just feels right. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how you do it. And from the day one, our band has always been kind of, we all left other bands because we wanted something more. So as soon as we, like me, Paul and Matt, got together, we all were in the mindset of wanting something more and more exciting, and, you know, and we just created this band that was just so full of energy that we just wanted to just push it further and further. So
Then we added Johnny in it.
then we added Johnny, and it just went even further. So I'd probably say the songs, really.
So it's like that explosive kind of catharsis almost, like just letting everything go all at once.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, you know, everyone has like their frustrations in life and, you know, stuff that they just need to get out. And I wouldn't say we do that in a negative way when we play. I think we only ever just, you know, do a really positive thing. So it's a good way to like expel all the negativity, but in a positive way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like I've seen you guys at live a few times now, and I never get a sense of it being pure negative energy. You know, it's never a sense of like I'm going to get hurt here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
never really get that sense.
No, you just get you kind of when you, that's like I said before, when you make these songs, when you make these fast rhythms and fast-paced drum things, it just gets you going, and you just kind of want to just, you know what it's like when you're watching a really ridiculous band that you want to watch, and you start feeling that kind of, you know, that's all it is, but just times a million.
Yeah. So let's go back to the very beginning, not the beginning of Heck / maybe Godzilla, but the beginning of, I guess, your own musical life, because I like an origin story, man, like a superhero origin story. Sometimes I think going down that route can be quite interesting, because it's not just about, well, tell me, who are your biggest influences?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's not, I don't, like, that's valid, of course, but it's not what I'm
Yeah.
asking, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I guess you guys can take it one at a time, you can jump in together, I don't know, but when did you guys realise that being musical and being creative was something you wanted to do?
For me, it kind of just happened. It sounds as weird as that sounds. It kind of, I was into music, and I was listening to a lot of music at the time, but the way I came to play drums was purely by almost accident. Just a bunch of friends kind of went, I was just hanging around with them at the time, and they just went, oh, let's make a band, because they could play guitar and bass, and I was just like, oh, cool, what shall I do? And they went, oh, you can play drums, and I was like, I don't know how to play drums. And they were like, oh, one of our friends gets lessons at a church, you should go with him. And I started playing drums. That was it. I was just like, oh, this is really fun. And then at that age, you just kind of take things up easier and quicker and stuff, and it was just so much fun. And then I was like, yeah, I want to be in a band. And then you look at, then the more you progress playing and listening to music, you're like, I want to be in a band, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to, and then it just goes, and your mind's just like, I want to do this now. And then when you figure out, when you get a band together like this, where it really clicks and works, you kind of go, yeah, this is what I want to do now.
Can you remember that period of transition when it was going from being in bands where it was like, oh, it's just like messing about, to holy shit, this is a fucking serious thing that I think we can push?
Kind of. I think it was kind of relatively recently.
Yeah.
To be honest, because like we always just kind of, we never ever. I know maybe like a lot of bands say that, but we never really expected, because our music's so ridiculous. We never expected to get the support and the kind of like help that we've got so far, and to play the gigs, and that Rescue Rooms gig was just like, playing that was very, wow, this is real. I feel like a proper band. Getting like the main dressing room.
Yeah.
That's the moment when you go, yeah.
When you look in the fridge and you see all that sandwich
all
stuff,
that ham.
I was like endless ham in the right of
endless ham.
Because the reason I ask is because I think a lot of bands that don't realise how much, a lot of people don't realise how much work you got to put in to get to the level you guys are at. Did you ever have that moment where it was kind of like, oh, this is a lot of work, or was just like, just keep playing, having fun, just keep doing it and just see what happens?
I think we're all of the mindset that we've got to do this, you have to enjoy it, because there are sacrifices you have to make to be in a band, but as long as you're enjoying it, those are sacrifices that I think we're all pretty much willing to make. So yeah, as long as we're happy.
When did you realise, Paul, that you wanted to?
I didn't realise that was how Tom started, because I started in exactly the same way.
Yes.
There's a group of people, and they were like obviously where I went, there was a lack of bass players, and there's a group of mates. I was like, oh, I play guitar, and they're like, oh no, you've already got a guitarist. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I could play guitar anyway, but I just saw that as being like a thing. Then one of them was like, oh, why don't you learn to play bass? And I was like, oh yeah, go on, I'll have a go. And then like Tom said, like I started getting for lessons, took it on, and realised that it's much better than guitar. So and just ran with it. We used to play in an indie band, really, and then so going from that to this is quite funny.
Was getting lessons quite integral then, do you think, to knowing you could, I guess, achieve your musical goals?
I think it completely depends on the person.
Definitely.
Because a lot of my friends, or friends that kind of I went to sixth form and stuff with, they all studied music, and I never ever studied music. And the lessons that I had at the church were by a guy that just came in and just kind of did these hour-long lessons that weren't specifically like grade 1, grade 2. He just kind of just showed us bits and bobs and things like that, and then they stopped quite quickly. And in a sense, I'm kind of glad that I didn't learn have full lessons and proper learn lessons and go to uni and study music and stuff like that, because the way I've done it is, I think, has shaped the way I am and the way I play drums. If I'd have learnt the proper way of playing and the proper reading music and stuff like that, I'd be probably technically skilled, but I might not have the same kind of feel and energy that I put into it now. And I think it just depends on the person and what they want, really.
I totally agree. I'm from a similar situation. My brother plays guitar and he studies music in college just now, and I play guitar as well. But I've had some lessons, but I've never really studied it, because I always thought to myself, I don't really want to distill something I really enjoy into this academic exercise, which I think would maybe rob it of passion. For me,
Well,
anyway,
yeah,
I don't know if
yeah,
it's up to everyone,
that's
but-
completely. That's it. It's down to the person because there's probably plenty of like incredible drummers and stuff that have
Absolutely,
gone through actual teaching and proper teaching. And to be honest, it'll get to a point where you can only learn so much on your own. But I feel like the way specifically for me in this band in this instance, I think that the fact that the path that I've accidentally kind of fell into has definitely shaped exactly how I play and stuff like that. So
I mean, I was listening to the album earlier on today, and there was definitely a good sense of. I don't get even though I know you guys like live, I don't get fear when I listen to it. It's like almost like catharsis when I listen to it. But it's finally out now, which is ace.
Yeah.
It's, from what I've read in the art interviews and from what I've heard you guys say before, it's taken a while to get here.
Some of those songs we've been playing, or maybe not playing live, but we've had in the song bank for 3 years or so at least. Like the end track, we played it at Waterfront, didn't we? Like in its earliest form. But that was.
I remember playing riffs from. Did I ever tell you? When me and Matt accidentally made another band, but that was about 4 or 5 years ago now.
Well, it was when I was in Denmark, wasn't it? So,
yeah, and that was and we jammed. Matt had that riff. He was playing that then.
So that was 2010, and it's now 2016.
So we've had bits and bobs, but it's all come together now properly in the past couple of years.
That last song is fucking epic as well. Like,
yeah,
must have taken a long time to compose that.
It probably took the longest thing that song took was actually playing it. Do you know what I mean? Like writing it and kind of arranging it and things like that was kind of. It didn't specifically take that long. It was physically playing it all from start to finish, with like maintaining concentration and doing everything right and stuff like that. That was kind of like the hard bit about it for me anyway, because it's quite a hard song to play for drums just because it's so long and it's so full on, and for everybody really. It's
like it's not a concentration in that you're getting bored of playing it, but there's so many different bits to it, and I'd say there's 3 different sections. If you look at the track listing, it's separated into 3 bits, and the part 2 is the bit I personally have to be like, oh god, and I hate watching what I'm playing, but I'm getting getting better as we play it more. But definitely, I think the first time we played it, I was just a bit like, just have to watch everything I'm doing because
I remember because the original idea behind the song was to have 3 separate songs that could all be played separately, but that you could also play them together if you wanted, because they all had recurring themes in them. So that was kind of easy to learn because we'd learned them in chunks. So the part 1 was a standalone song, part 2 was made so you could just play that on its own, and the last song was made so you could just play that on its own as well. But when we played it for the first time, when we get to the end of the first part, we all just wanted to go into the second part, and by the end of the second part we were just like ready to go into the third part. So we kind of just went, well, let's just make it one big song then, because we're always going to want to play the next bit. And then when we first played it for the first time ever at this Nottingham festival, just to kind of test it, we were just like, you know what, sod it, let's just play a couple of songs and then be like, this is our last song because it's so long. I missed out the complete second section, so about 3 minutes of it. We just got to that section where it goes into the second part, and then I just went straight into the third part, and then it just threw everything off.
We got back onto it.
We got back onto it. I think it was a bit of a mess up, but no one had absolutely any clue what the song sounded like.
That's it. Like good and shit musicians alike. When you make a mistake, as long as you can recover, that's actually probably what really makes you a good egg, and we're quite good at that.
It's always on stop, which is the worst thing you can do. Fucking fucked it.
I think we've had a few moments where we've played a song and just gone start again, and that was crap.
If you make a funny joke out of it as well, people are like, oh.
Ultimately forget about it.
Yes.
I mean, like, I don't know how to say this and not make it sound offensive, but I was really surprised at how technical proficient the record was compared to when I see you guys live, because there's just so much chaos when I watch you guys. And like,
that's good.
Obviously, I was aware of like the Dillinger Escape Plan-esque nature of your sound anyway, because I've seen you guys live. You know what I mean? But I don't think I was ready to hear it like at that level. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was awesome to hear it. I was like, fuck, like these guys can play live and can fucking play. Like, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Which is what I love about music anyway. It's the kind of music I'm really drawn to. You know, have you guys been getting that a lot, or is that?
I'd say that's probably.
It's one of the biggest comments we have.
Yeah. Like you get people going, "Oh my god, they've got songs," and it's like, well, you know, we had them anyway, but it's really nice that people are noticing that now, I suppose.
I think it's the medium, the way this has come out as well, because we've always tried to be like as good musicians as we can be, and we've always tried to push ourselves as well. But I think this album has really allowed us to kind of express that more so than the previous records, because the previous records were very like,
I'd say raw.
They were really raw. So like the intricacies of certain songs and things you won't necessarily have picked up, and then maybe live, if you listen to the song live, an old song on CD, and then go to see us live, you might not specifically pick it up because the live show was so ridiculous. Like, you know, you can't obviously play the twiddly bits when you're on your back with one hand on a microphone and one hand on the guitar, but you know, you're trying to get you constantly evolve and learn how to play and how to get through exactly what you're playing. So
the kind of music you guys play and the kind of music we enjoy will always exist in that medium between never exactly sounding like a record anyway, because it's not what you go see. It's not really what you want to go see a band live.
Yeah,
you know?
And I wouldn't try and kid anyone now and say it's going to be a picture perfect representation of the album, because you know all the energy was still in the album because of the way we recorded it, but obviously we weren't going around the recording studio like trying to fucking climb on something that that shouldn't be climbed on, and again, so it's like it's
completely different things as well.
They really
playing live and listening to music on your own with your headphones on, it's completely different. You know the album. If you could listen to an album and I could listen to it, but you could take from it completely differently to what I take from it. But then when you see it live, you might get a similar kind of feeling of just energy as well. So I suppose that's good.
The energy does come across in the recording. How did you guys manage to do that?
The what?
The
Sorry?
energy does come across. Like it does.
I think
come out, like,
that was the guy that recorded it, Matt Peel. He kind of we've always had a mindset of having. We always used to wait. Initially, we wanted to record everything live because of our first EP was recorded really kind of like we all did it separately in a booth and stuff like that. And then when the final product came out, it sounded good, but it wasn't really kind of like gritty and kind of what we wanted. So Oki, when we recorded Oki, we did it mainly live, all in the same room, and it just felt so much better. And we kind of did a similar thing with the album. We kind of all stayed in one room and played it together, and I think that helped. Yeah,
that was really cool. Like, we fettled with stuff after, but like the main bit, it wasn't just like it's going in a window with Tom with a click track going, "Go on, me." It was, it's
the main beef of it was live.
Yeah.
So being able to see yourself when you're playing live is actually not something that I've done when I've recorded, which I would like to do at some point in the future. I've never really been in that situation when I've recorded live, where we've all done it at the same time. I'd love to do that in the future. Maybe when I've got the money to record in a bigger studio.
Yeah, well, to be honest,
I'm not going to lie, it was not a big studio. Like,
it was tiny. Yeah. It was really small, but it's really good. It's because you can connect, because when you're playing live, you do these little looks at each other, and you look for cues and stuff and body language and things like that people watching don't normally see, but because you've played with each other so long, you know what each other's doing and thinking and stuff like that, and that when you have that in the studio, it's really nice as well, because you get the sense of like energy from looking at each other and stuff, so it's not as stale as just doing it in a booth. So that's maybe partly to why the energy is translated.
It does sound like you've recorded it live anyway, so I mean that's kind of what you want in it. So I had a question about athleticism, which generally is, are you guys ever worried that there's going to come a point where you guys can't give it the full beans live?
I think age is going to catch up with us at some point, but by that time, hopefully, we'll have combusted and all the world will be rid of us anyway. But like, you know, we've all had injuries and things. I think once I had full knee surgery and tried to play a gig, and it just wasn't great. But Johnny's also had knee surgery, and that's one of the only times we've ever had to cancel a show because it happened to coincide with that, and it just wouldn't have been good for the rehabilitation of body parts. But I suppose it's just like, as long as we're trying to put everything into it, like, it'll be fine.
It's just a constant kind of want to be better and want to push everything more, you know, especially with like my drumming. I always, every single gig, I always want to push myself. Like if I get tired at a certain point, the night after, I want to make sure that by that point I'm not tired. So you kind of, it's a constant, you push yourself, keep going and keep pushing and keep getting the better out of yourself.
You can hear that in the music as well, like the way the EPs, from the EPs to the album, there's definitely that challenge. You can hear that pushing, like what you can physically play, which is...
Yeah, you won't get better if you don't push for something that's slightly out of reach to try it, and then as soon as you get that, you've got that, then you hold it, and then you keep going for that little thing that's just slightly out of reach, which is either play it a bit harder, play it a bit faster sometimes, or, you know, play this little bit that's a little bit too complicated, and then you just do it. You go for things that are just slightly out of reach, and then you get them eventually, and then you keep going, and then that's the way that, you know, that's how we see progression anyway.
But I think you definitely, if you listen to we went through a couple of old tracks the other day, like really old tracks, like the first tracks I've ever done, and I was playing them, I was like, well, I know the music's slightly different, you know, it's a different style, but I was like, bloody hell, this is well easy. Now really it's like, yeah, you know, Matt will come with a riff and you'll be like, never going to be able to play that. And about a week later you'll be like, right, I can play that now. So
that's what I love about being in a band as well, is when somebody comes with something like a bass part or a guitar part, and I'm like, I can never sing and play that, but I fucking make it happen.
Yeah, that's it. You just do it.
Yeah.
You just make, you know, you do what you can to do it, and if it's your kind of physical ability that's holding you back, then you know, try and up your fitness a little bit more and try and get more in shape, and, you know, but ultimately it's down to like you just practicing and pushing yourself.
And then if you just make sure you practice it, slow it down, and then gradually speed it up, then your technical ability will get better as well. So it's definitely just
I was wondering about the older stuff. I couldn't really find it online anymore, probably for obvious reasons, but is it ever going to come back out, or...?
There's no plans for it right now.
No, it wasn't taken down consciously. It's to do with the name change. Like, there's legal like issues with it, and, you know, it might just be easier. Like, as crap as it sounds, it might just be easier. Just in the short term, I've got a lot on a plate, just to leave it be. But, you know, that's not to say we're not going to go, you know, stop playing those songs and stuff. You know, we'll still.
It might be nice, just made me think of an idea actually for like maybe 10 years on of when we first released our first EP, because I think you could probably fit it on a 7-inch both sides.
That'd be good.
To release our first ever EP, which is completely different sounding, but we could do like a limited thing. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, re-record it.
Re-recorded.
So no bloody click tracks in there.
No.
I was wondering about the older stuff as well, and all the stuff that you guys went through. Like, I know it must be quite hard to have to basically start from scratch again, but was it also kind of, what was it feeling like at the time when that happened? Like,
with what, sorry?
When you get to change the name and all that, like, what was the feeling like?
It was dread.
Yeah.
Absolute,
Really
like, it was like we didn't have a band. The band, it was like your band had just stopped and that was it. It was just, what happens now? It was very jarring to the kind of system to be kind of, you know, you do it for, at that point, 5 years pushing this name, and you're really excited and you're really ready to go, and you do the Kerrang tour and you do this and you get a nomination for a video award and everything looking really good, and then you just go, then someone comes up and says, no, stop.
We're having that.
We're having that. Start again. And ultimately it was our fault.
Yeah.
For not really noticing it, but it's still a shock to the grand scheme of things. It's a big shock.
Do you guys hold any resentment for that? Huh?
Not now, I don't.
No, not really. At first you kind of go, what, how dare they? But if you think about it, it's like calling your band Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
You can't
Do
as
that.
much as it sounds mad that Godzilla is an actual trademark name, it's a fact, and you go, okay, whatever. And that's kind of, I think that helped us move on, because it was just like, it wasn't something that was maliciously taken away from us. It was something that we kind of...
It wasn't something, in the grey area, it was black and white.
It was black, yeah, you've done this wrong. So we were kind of like, shit, let's do it again then, let's start again. But it just, that process was a lot harder than we thought.
Yeah, and it's probably, people probably just thought we went black for a couple of months on social media and then came back and it's all rosy, but they were some dark periods. They were. So
I'd say we were close to splitting up and stopping, because we were that kind of annoyed and angry. Like you say, there was probably a bit of resentment to the whole situation, and like, what's the point? And blah blah blah. But you've got to kind of just sit and chill out and be like, come on, you'll figure this out. Just give it a bit more time. I think we initially gave ourselves like a couple of weeks to come up with a new name and turn it around, but in reality, when you think about that, it's just insane.
Like,
so many things come into play.
People were getting on our backs as well about, if we're getting this out now, we need to, get a name, and it's like, we can't just pick some piece of crap that one of the is in the band isn't happy with, because we really shouldn't have to settle for this one. This should be, there's always periods when you've got 4 different people, 4 different ideas, where you have to settle for something, and there are certain issues, and that's fine. But this was going to be one of those ones where we have to take this name on, and we all have to be pulling from the same direction.
I think as well, it's that back to that kind of way of thinking up was because we weren't massive fans of the name Baby Godzilla anyway. It was one of the things where we just kind of called it ourselves, and we just like, that's that. And then we ended up kind of getting, quite a lot of like coverage and stuff, and we were like, oh, that's our name then.
And they were like, we can't change it.
We can't change it. We can't change it now. But then when it happens, you kind of go, oh crap, I wish we'd not have changed it. Oh no, what happens now? But
it was really nice though to like be able to just come back with this, because it's not like starting a new band, because we were the same band, but it is so we came back with all these new things, all these new announcements, and an album in the pipeline, something which we'd been struggling to do like prior to the name change, and yeah, it was actually a really nice thing to happen, if in a weird way.
So it kind of renewed your focus, I guess, and getting to...
I guess so, yeah. It kind of helped us all to kind of... I think if you didn't want to be in a band, you probably would have just called it quits there, because it was such a blow. It was like all this stuff that you'd worked for, and then to just stop straight away, if you weren't massively into being in a band, you that was the perfect time to go, sod it, let's just do something else, But it was like we all wanted to do it, so there was no stopping, and we all wanted to make sure that we had a name that we all liked this time. And then we just, as soon as we got that name, which I believe Matt came up with, we just went, everyone was just like, I remember the moment I was sat in my girlfriend's house, and she was probably getting sick of it, me telling her all these random names. She was just like, I'm not bothered, and then I just kind of went, heck, quite like heck. And she was like, okay, cool, what does everyone else say? I was like, everyone seems to like it. And then Paul, yeah, heck. Matt, I like heck.
And then
Johnny,
last
heck.
one,
heck. And we were all like, yes,
that's what we are.
Do it.
And then we ran with it.
So
It's probably a good time to wrap it up, I guess. You guys got anything else you want to say, or anything you want to ask me before we finish?
What's your perfect Sunday?
Oh, see, they're not going to know what we're talking about now. I asked this before we started.
No, you didn't. What's the other one? This is
randomly
a completely organic question.
What's your perfect Sunday?
My perfect Sunday is band practice. That's what I already do. So
What's your band called?
False Hopes. We played with you guys last time.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that was good. So yeah, that's my perfect Sunday.
Yay! days.
I tell you what as well. No disrespect to the cat house, but when we played at the audio. When we played at the audio last time,
Oh yeah.
the loading is so much better. Out of the van, roll through the door, get the sound man
Get a
shouting
lift.
at you.
That's probably the last thing we should say. Get a lift, cat house.
Get a lift, yeah.
Get a lift that can fit your van in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you can park it, so you don't have to pay £6 for 2 hours parking.
Oh man, that's cool.
Thanks, Glasgow.
I'll tell Butler he'll love that.
Yeah.
He'll love that you said that.
No, I do like Butler. Well, we love Butler, yeah.
Thanks very much, guys. It's been awesome.
No worries.
Auf Wiedersehen.
See, those are just two really lovely, really nice, really affable guys, and I had a lot of fun talking to them. A lot of good stories as well. Like I love to hear bands get into really deep, intense conversations about the music they've made and how they got there, basically, you know. And that's exactly what Tom and Paul did. So thanks very much for talking to me. I really appreciate that. Hopefully they're listening. They might not be, but it doesn't matter. Thank you anyway. I hope you enjoyed it though. I certainly enjoyed it. Just a little bit of admin thing I should probably clear up is on the 16th of March, my interview on the Hello-Fi podcast came out. Now, as you might remember, episode 38 was with Jamie from Atlas Empire, and who also does the Hello-Fi podcast. So I said in that episode that it was actually part 2 of our chat, because we'd already done part 1, but mine came out first. So yeah, his podcast came out on the 16th of March, and man, I can't believe people let me speak about stuff. I don't know, like, it's weird to be interviewed. Listening back on it was just a totally bizarre experience. I don't like my voice at the best of times, but my God, can I talk some power of shit? I'm telling you, man, it's fucking terrifying. Anyway, I actually thought it was quite an entertaining listen. If you like this podcast, you'll definitely like that chat. If you like me, I don't know why you'd like me, but if you like me, I guess you'll like it too. Some interesting things I've spoken about. I speak a little bit about my band and stuff as well, and all my musical influences and shit like that. It's kind of similar to what this podcast is, but I'm on the other end. So yeah, please go listen to that. Also meant to say in the start that my band actually supported Heck in November 2015, and I talk a little bit about my band, which is called False Hopes, which I briefly mentioned in that interview there. So give a wee listen if you like hardcore. Why wouldn't you? I don't know. Please check out Jamie's podcast, Hello-Fi Podcast. It's awesome. Has some cool people on there, and me, who's less cool, but you know, I'm grateful he could speak to me. So yeah, that's part 1/2 of a 2-part conversation. Check it out. And yeah, that's that. I'm done plugging my shit. So thanks very much for listening. Please rate and review the podcast on iTunes if you get a chance, or just hit me up on Twitter if you want to chat. I'm really open to talking. I've not been doing so much on Twitter lately, to be honest. I've been kind of busy with work and stuff like that, so I've not really had the time to devote to talking to people on there. But I will talk to you if you chat to me. So drop us a line. That'd be ace. Going to play you out now with another song from Heck's debut album, because frankly I think it's dynamite. And if you like it, then if you like hardcore, if you like really messy hardcore of the Dillinger Escape Plan sort, then you'll really dig this album, and they're an awesome band. We spoke a little bit about this song in the interview, and this is a 3-part song. It's the last song on the record. It's 16 minutes long, but it's just, man, it's sprawling and it's epic, and I just love it. It's a 3-part title. It goes by the name of See the Old Lady Decently Buried, Although Amongst Those Left Are You. It's a cracker. It's a great ending. And it's a great way to end this podcast. Until next time, dear listener, bye-bye.
Represented in spite of such a perfect and beautiful life. Working as was inevitable. In retrospect, We're no closer to catching how good we are told we should be.